Okay, so these are my retakes for the part 4 test. The first question I got wrong was question 2, which was, what is the probability that a student from this class eats breakfast or flosses their teeth? And so I drew this chart, and the odds of none of this happening is 0.09. And so if you add up 0.11, 0.34, and 0.46, then you get 91, which is 91%, which is the answer. So that's 2. And then for 3, and then for question 3, you treat them like independently. So for the first one, for your juniors, the first chance you have is 5 out of 9, because there's 9 people in total. And then the second chance after you've picked one person is 4 out of 8. And then for the seniors, there's only 4 seniors, so the first odds is 4 out of 9, and then after you've picked one, it's 3 out of 8. And so you multiply those together, and then you add them, and you get 0.444, which is your final answer. Okay, so for question 12, that's this big long one. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to just not add the ones that they eliminate. So you're going to do 99 plus 49 plus 63. And then you're going to go down and do the same for this row, 83, 31, 71, because there's no one from high school B, so you can eliminate that whole thing. And then you're not going to add up 138 or 124. So then your final will be 396. And then how you get 538 is you add up all the bottom ones, so you get 244 plus 106 plus 188. But obviously you are not gonna add this one because it says other than college. So that's how you get your final answer as 396 over 538. Okay, so for 13, I got about half of it right. What I forgot to do though is, so first you do the probability that it will purchase the mineral rights for the first mountain, which would be 0.6 because the chances of it for the second mountain is 0.4. So it's going to be just the opposite. So this will add up to 100. This will add up to 100. And then you multiply the two and you get these two numbers, which you're going to add. And then that's going to be your overall probability that they will purchase the mineral rights to exactly one of the two mountains. Okay, so for 18, it asks approximately what percent of the people who entered the amusement park met the height requirement, and it says the height requirement is 48 inches, and your median is exactly at 48, so it's going to be 50%. Okay, this one, I'm not sure how I really got it wrong, but basically it's going to be a cluster sample because you selected 50 stores, and within those you have your cashiers. So it's clusters of cashiers within each store. So that's why it would be a cluster sample, because you're like taking like each store is a cluster. Okay, so for 21, I should have used a tree diagram, but I didn't. So it says that assume 75% of statistics students studied for the test. 40% of those who studied got an A, 10% who didn't study got an A. So 75% studied, which means that 25 didn't. So that's going to be your first. And then it says 40% got an A. So that means that 60 didn't. And then it says 10% of those who didn't study got an A. And so that leaves 90 for those who didn't. So that's a pretty easy tree diagram to do. And then you're simply just going to like find the one that it fits. For 21A, it is what is the probability that someone didn't study and didn't get an A. So no study, no A. So you're going to do 25.25 times 0.9, and you're going to get 22.5%. So that's how you get 21A. And then for 21B, I got the top part right, but I forgot to put it over the possibility of getting an A overall. So instead of just multiplying the top two, you have to do it over the possibility of it happening at all. So the question is, what is the probability that someone gets an A actually studied for the test? And so the probability that someone actually got an A and studied for the test is 0.75 over 0.4. So you're going to have that down here as well. but there's also the probability that someone didn't study and got an A. And so you're going to have to add that to the bottom, which then if you just do the multiplication, you're going to get 92.31%. So that's how you do 21. All right, so for 22, I started it right, but basically this is going to be your difference between the two heights, mean heights of the two. You're going to find your standard deviation by taking both the standard deviations and using the theorem. So then you're going to have squared, and then you're going to get that. So then you're going to take you want the difference of 0. So you're going to do 0 minus your standard deviation of 5.1. Sorry, not your standard deviation, your mean over your standard deviation, which gives you this. So then you're going to plug it in because you want to see what is the probability that a woman dates a man shorter than she is. So then you plug that in, you're going to get the probability that a woman dates someone shorter than herself is 8.69%. And that's what the chart looks like. And that's 22. All right, 23. So for 23B, you can see here I had the exact right setup. I just didn't plug it into my calculator because I didn't know how to do the combinations then, but I know how to do that now. And so you just plug that in and you'll get your answer. So that's 23B. 23C, you have to find that at least half of your 20 customers will use credit. So I chose to do this long calculations, but you can really just do binom CDF and you want at least half, so that's 10 or greater. Sorry, it's less than 10. So you're going to do anything 9 or less, and then you're going to take the complement of that. So you're going to do 1 minus binom CDF of n equals 20, p equals 0.62, because that's your probability that all purchases are now made with credit card. And then, of course, your x equals 9, because you're trying to find the complement of that. And so you do all that math, and then right here, it's going to be 0.9077. And then for D, so you're going to have the first 3 sales, and it's going to be a geometric equation. So for your first sale, the chance of you getting it is 0.62. For your second sale, you've already had 1 fail, so you're going to have 0.38 for the fail, and then for take 2, you're going to have 0.62. For your third time, you've already failed twice, so you have 0.38 squared, and then your one last chance, which is 0.62. So you multiply them and add them, and you get 0.9451. So the probability is 94.51% that the customer to use a credit card is going to be one of the 3 first sales of the day. All right, for 24, you're trying to find the probability that at least 140 people will report owning their own home. And so your total random sample is 200. So you're trying to find anywhere from 140 to 200. So once again, you're going to use the complement. So it's going to be 1 minus binom CDF with your sample size being 200. Your probability says 68% of Americans own their homes in 2003. And then you are trying to find the complement, so anything above 139. So you plug that in your calculator and you get 1 minus 0.6998, which gives you 0.3002. So the probability is 30.02 that Americans will report owning their homes.